then I was able to quit again for... Hey, I'm back. And I want to talk more about addiction. Because oh my god, addiction sucks. How did it come this far? How did I let it come this far? So, last week I had like a relapse. Not really, but yes. So I quit smoking weed like 2 weeks ago, or my decision to do it. I went 5 days without it, then had a night where I went drinking and thought like the next morning, okay, I should be able to do this. And I kind of was. I was able to do it. So I smoked previous week Sunday. And then I was able to quit again for 2 or 3 days. I didn't want to smoke. I didn't feel the need for it. But then like the 4th day came and, well, I just gave in, like without a problem, right? And that's the thing with addiction. So once you make the conscious choice for it to be allowed again, then it will find its way through the cracks of your consciousness, of your allowance for it. It will find its way back to you. So that's why people who are addicted say, 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough. Because that's true. Once you start again with that old overdue cycle of, in my case, hurt or my usage, it will find its way back. It can take months or it can take a couple of days. But once you allow it to be coming back, it will come back. And that's why addiction sucks so much. So there is no control over it, because you have lost the control over it a long time ago. And once you allow it to come back, you will find yourself more and more going back into those old habits. The things where you actually want to go from, so away from. And that's what happened again, like last week for me. So I smoked then Sunday, I think Wednesday, and then Friday I had a party again, which resulted in me smoking Friday, Saturday and Sunday, where there was no limit again to how much I could smoke, and I kept telling myself, oh, it's alright, it will be fine, you can stop anyway you want, which is now kind of true. I'm getting more and more control, or I don't want to say control, because control, or we can make a separate topic about that. I don't want control because I've had too much control in my life. But once you become stronger, you become more yourself, you become more strongly connected with yourself, I would say, with what you want, what you like, with who you are, then the need for, in my case, the substance of weed, but it can also be smoking cigarettes, too much time on your telephone, not being able to be alone as an addiction. There's thousands, everything can be an addiction, right? So when I wake up, I don't want to use my phone anymore, so I have put some time for me to wake up, to get grounded, get into myself, and without that external validation which I get, which addiction is. Like addiction is a stimulus from an external part which you apparently need, but you don't actually need, but you feel the need for it for your survival, which can be very tricky because we don't need a substance or another external validation for us to feel good or to be approved or to be loved or to live, right? And I have been giving my power away way too much in that sense by allowing weed to control me, by allowing my other addictions to control me. So addiction is just one subject or a thing you're using way too much. It's out of balance in your life. You allow it to get a way too big influence over your life. So it's normally the way you want to be in life is like to be aligned, right? You want to feel good, you want everything in balance, you want your masculine energy, you want your feminine energy to be the same or at least in balance for you as a person. You want to eat healthy, but you also want to enjoy life, right? So it can be a balance between eating healthy and then sometimes maybe exploring something like a drug or whatever. That's all okay as long as it's in balance. And what's been happening to me, but certainly for everybody in this world, that we have been led to believe that we need certain types of things for us to survive. So for instance our mobile phone, or for instance our need for sugar, or our need for fast food, or our need for over validation by the internet, or whatever it is. Because as I said, I've been coming up for a lot of addictions for myself, so which at first didn't seem like an addiction, but when you look closer into it, it can literally be an addiction because you spend way too much energy on it, which brings that balance out of balance. So when you're constantly following this pattern of addiction, or following this cycle of dopamine release for that gratification of, oh, I need this to feel better, it's all really short term. So every time you get a like on Instagram, you are like, oh, people like me. Or for instance, for me on YouTube, I have been checking the videos, how well they have been doing, or how many people have been watching them, and then that kind of disappointed me because I saw like, oh, people don't watch my videos that much, or they stop at a certain point when, like from my point of view, the video was just starting, I was just getting into it, and then I was thinking, oh, what then am I doing wrong, right? Because people don't want to watch it, or this or that, and that just keeps on cycling in your head, and then becomes a reason for me to start using again, or start finding that gratification again. So that gratification is all for the short term, and as you keep doing it, your brain gets more and more addicted and needs more and more of it. And then the balance will just disappear, and when you're out of balance, you don't know what step to take next. You will become angry, depressed, negative, or whatever, because if you're not centered, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you want, your brain has a way to get you back to that point, and this life will get you back to that point if you allow it to. But the stronger that addiction, or if you're not aware of it, right, then it will just keep pulling you away, keep pulling you away, keep pulling you away. And that's why I'm so sad for this world, right? We go to school at 4, we don't get taught anything about ourselves or about the life we're living. We just have to follow the rules, do this, do that. And essentially they are creating addicts on school everywhere in this world. The moment you grow, the moment you come into this life, there's all this addiction around you, all this way of losing yourself. And then, for instance, for me at 20, you are fucking depressed, you don't know what you want in life, you don't know that there's other options because you have never been taught. And then you think about killing yourself, and I'm glad I didn't, but there's people who did, and there's still people who are struggling with it. And it's all because of this society and the way we are brought up, right? So for me, I don't want to blame my addiction to that, but I can see when I was 7, I already started to try to escape the reality I was in because everything around me didn't seem like I wanted it to be. So I started playing Pokemon or playing Mario Kart on my DS or my Game Boy at that time, to just not be rejected by everybody around me, which felt like that at the time. And then that resulted in me eating too much, getting fat. That resulted into me having a bad self-image. That resulted into me at my middle school gaming way too much, like literally playing 10 hours of video games on a day, just not to have to deal with whatever was outside of me, and especially also inside of me. And then that resulted in a need for sexual validation, and that eventually resulted into my weed, or not really resulted into, but it was together, resulted into my weed addiction and maybe alcohol usage or other drug usage which was not responsible. And you see, it's just a constant cycle, and it's not some start or some end. No, it's always there. And I just have the courage, I would say, and the need for myself at least to figure out why I have that and why other people are having it, and what we can do about it, essentially, right? Because nobody wants to be controlled by anything. Everybody wants to be free, and as long as you are in one way or another in that addiction, can be everything, then you're certainly not doing the right thing or the thing you really want to. You're not following your dream, you're not following your passion, you're not following your love. And that just keeps on building up, stacking up, until there's no choice for you but to look into it, because you can only feel unhappy. Because the only way out for you at that point seems like to kill yourself. And it just saddens me to see that it has to be, or that it has been this way. And it certainly has hurt me a lot. I know that everybody is addicted. If you say you aren't, then I hope you can take a deep look at yourself and realize that you're maybe hiding something from yourself. And that it's okay to be addicted, right? Because that addiction has something to show you, a path for you to learn, for a path for you to grow. And even though it's fucking hard, even though you do things you don't want to, you hurt people you don't want to, or you hurt yourself when you don't want to, it's all, how difficult or not, a reason for you to learn and a reason for you to grow. And so I hope that by making this video I can stimulate people to also take a deeper look inside of themselves. To know that addiction is not something that's bad or that you have to fear for, but it can be something that's destroying your life if you know it, or maybe if you're unaware of it. And the more unaware of it you are, the worse the situation will get, right? So I hope you will find the courage, just like I am finding it, to also then say no to it, to take the steps to try and let go of that same cycle, and to create positive and more healthy addictions in return, right? Addiction to reading, or an addiction to healthy food. It's not really good, but you see, that's the way you can look at an addiction. So I hope that people will find their way out of their cycle, and to find something better to replace it. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, because it's with most of us really ingrained with who we are. But the more you become aware of it, the easier it will be to let go of it. And I'm doing that, taking the steps, and I'm happy with it. I don't feel happy at the moment. I feel sad. I made some mistake yesterday, and it all came from my substance use like the day before. So my brain was not working properly. I wasn't saying the right things, the things I was feeling, but still I was saying them kind of just to hurt the other person. And I don't want to be like that. And every time I use, it's the same thing. It's the same cycle over and over. I'm done with it. I want to be done with it, but it's hard. If you smoked for 4 years, I don't want this for my children. I hope that by going this way inside, and by doing the things or by learning the things I'm learning now, I can help our future generations, my children or your children, to not have to go through the same struggles, to intentionally be set up to be addicted, or to be in this closed-minded space, right? Because outside of this system there's so much more to explore, so much more to learn, and I want to step out of that old structure, 9-to-5 job, politics, economic system, whatever, into something new which can be created only by changing ourselves. So I hope maybe you've learned something from this. If not, then it's also alright. But I hope you can really take that look at yourself, because there's always something to learn in every situation. And if you don't see that, then I hope for you that you will learn it in the future. Life is wonderful. It can be hard sometimes, but day by day, and every day, I'm getting better and better. And I hope you are as well, so we can get stronger, better, and stronger. So, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day whenever you're watching this, and see you in the next. Ciao.